Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Sanders, and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today, what I want to do is talk about a little company called Baltic. Baltic, the watches are originally made in Hong Kong, and then they're shipped, or the parts are shipped, or something. It wasn't clear on that. I believe to France, where they're constructed and based on comb. And the company I'd heard of before. I saw a very attractive watch one day, and it turned out to be a Baltic. So I thought I'd try to find out a little more about them. Now, the thing that I like the best about Baltic and literally any watch company is that they tell you what's inside. You can take a look at a watch and get a pretty good idea of what's in the outside, but what's important is the movement as well, and so you know what you're paying for. Sometimes you pay a lot for not so much. Here, like I said, there's a good one-to-one match. Okay, let's take a look at the models they have. The first one is a Prismic. The euro is 990 euros, 36 millimeters. Now, one of the things about a lot of these watches, they tend to be a little smaller, 36 millimeters. They have some larger ones too, and we'll see those as well. The movement inside of this is a manual movement. It's called the ETA Pazu 7001. Originally, it was the Pazu 7001. ETA bought it, and it's at 42 hours, good almost 2 days. The MRI 01 is 545. It's also 36 millimeters, has a Hangzhou caliber 5000A with a micro rotor in it. It's the Chinese movement, and I made some watches with Chinese movement, just sort of as a pretentious watchmaker, I might add, and I've had very good luck with them. Now these, though, you don't have to make; they're made for you. The next two watches, one's called the HMS 360. Now this one's 38 millimeters. It's a little bigger. It's got Miyota 8315 movement in it, 60 hours. Another is the Hermetique Tour, 550. It has a Miyota 9039. Here again, where you have these different kinds of movements. If I were you, I would look it up, find out everything you can about it. One of the neat things about the Hermetique Tour is look at the crown. The crown is, so if you're doing a lot of running around and stuff, the crown isn't going to catch on something. The next two are, you have the Tri-Compacts and the Bicompacts. The Tri-Compacts is 1,585 euro. That's the most expensive watch they have. 39.5 millimeters. It's a manual Solida SW510M. This was based on an earlier one from ETA. 63 hours, 5 ATM. It's not much for diving, but it's an honest to goodness chronograph. The bicomplex is 36.5, a little smaller, manual Siegel ST 1901, 42-hour reserve. For those of you who are into chronographs of some sort. Now, the last type is sort of the general model category, are called aquascapes. The classic is 580 euro. It's got a Miyota 9039, power reserve of 42 hours, 200 meters water resistance. That's about, 6,600 feet down, something like that. 6,000, yeah, about 600 feet down. Unidirectional bezel on that. Now, the Aquascape GMT is the only one that has a different movement of all of the other Aquascapes we're going to look at in a second. And it's got a Soprod C125 GMT in it. It's got a dual time. You can see it has a little green arm on it, or depending on the color you get of the watch. and this is Soprod is a movement I happen to really like. The C125. One of the things about Soprod, a lot of people have said, "Oh, well, that's really ETA." Well, there's not that much wrong with ETA, but the thing is that what you'll find is that it's not based on an ETA, but it's based on an ETA size for a good reason, because a lot of watch companies had all of their cases and everything ready to accept a certain size movement. And so some of the Soprods were very different. For example, the A10 was one that was based on the Seiko 4L, which was their first entry into high horology movement. Now the final ones are all based on the same thing as the classic, the Aquascape bronze. I just like the looks of it. 39 millimeters. The Aquascape dual crown, I refer to a rehaut bezel. It's actually not exactly a rehaut, but rather it's like a bezel, movable bezel that's under the glass, and you move it with the second of the two crowns. Finally, there's the Aquascape titanium, 710 euro. Titanium is lighter and stronger, and it's also very hard to work with, so that's end up paying a little more for titanium. Anyhow, Baltic, honest company. I like them because of the honesty, so you know what you're getting. I would like to hear what you think, and if you have one, I'd really like to hear what you have to say. And it's an opportunity to subscribe if you like. Until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Side, the art and science of watch collection.